Harold Benton, a retired war veteran with a quiet heart and worn-out boots, walked the streets of Asheville every day, head held high, despite the whispers behind his back and the sideways glances he received from people who had never worn a uniform or known sacrifice. He was a man who had once crawled through trenches in foreign lands, braved storms of bullets, and lost brothers in arms while serving his country. Yet now he struggled to afford a hot meal, and his clothes, though clean, were patched and faded. The townsfolk, dressed in fine coats and polished shoes, saw only the surface, a man who slept in a run-down apartment and worked part-time sweeping the park. The younger ones laughed as he passed, mocking his bent frame and the medal pinned proudly to his chest, unaware or uncaring of its weight. Businessmen shook their heads, muttering how a real man would have built a fortune by now. But Harold never let their words poison his soul. Each morning he saluted the flag flying over City Hall, then marched to the park with a broom in hand, doing his job with honor and patience. What no one knew was that Harold had quietly written a book pages filled with stories of loyalty, courage, and the humanity found in even the darkest moments of war. He had mailed it to dozens of publishers over the years and received nothing but silence in return. Still, he revised it in the evenings by candlelight, sitting at his old desk, determined that one day someone might hear the voices of the fallen heroes he remembered. Then, one spring morning, a letter arrived. A prestigious publishing house had read his manuscript, and the editor was moved to tears by its honesty and beauty. They offered to publish the book, and within months, Letters from the Fire became a bestseller. The media hailed him as a literary genius. Interviews flooded in, and students across the nation read his words in classrooms. People who once ignored him now stood in line to shake his hand. At a town hall event, the mayor who had once walked past Harold without a glance now publicly honored him with a civic medal, apologizing for the town's coldness. But Harold, in his calm, steady way, merely smiled and said, "I never needed applause. I just needed the truth to be heard." With the earnings from his book, he opened a shelter for struggling veterans, offering food, warmth, and the dignity they deserved. Every evening, he read aloud from his book to those who sat beside him, reminding them that their pain had meaning and their lives were not forgotten. The same teenagers who had once laughed at him now volunteered at his shelter, learning humility and respect. Harold never sought riches or fame. His victory was in being seen not as a poor man in old clothes, but as the hero he had always been. In the end, the town that once turned away from him built a statue in the park he had once swept, and beneath it, carved into stone, were the words he had written in his book. True honor is not worn like a suit, but carried in the heart through the storms of life.